How about a story about flying saucers? We got a couple kids here, right? Anybody believe in flying saucers? This is going to be audience participation. I'm going to tell you a little story behind this. When I was growing up, there was a big scare about flying saucers. I don't know if anyone in here remembers that. Probably 60s, 70s, 50s. I'm not old enough to be back in the 40s and 50s, but flying saucers was a big deal. This is a story, so I'm not going to read. Well, maybe I'll go read the whole thing. I guess I have a little bit of time. But what I need is a volunteer. So here's the story behind it. When I was growing up, we had in our hometown a gas station that was shaped like a flying saucer. And my hometown was Ashtabula, Ohio. Anyone know Ashtabula? It's near Geneva on the lake. And right now there's a historical, I'm a volunteer for my hometown. It's kind of far from here, but I do what I can from afar. And they're trying to save some of the old buildings. And unfortunately, the flying saucer is no longer with us. It was a gas station that rotated. I think there was maybe one or two in the United States. And this organization is trying to save some of the other, old buildings and unusual buildings, and so I'm a part of that. So what they're doing is they've made t-shirts. And so I'm going to read the story, and if I could maybe get a volunteer. It says Ashtabula, and there's the flying saucer on the front of it. So anyone who'd like to have this shirt, all you have to do is stand up and hold it like this. Anybody want a shirt? You want to do it for me? Yay! Come on. Okay, you can put it on if you wanted to, or you can hold it. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm going to point to it about halfway through the story, so that's why I need somebody to be there for me. Okay, it's called Flying Objects. A little bit more background. My mother was a very eccentric, she still is, she's almost 80 now, lives in Arizona, and so this is kind of about her. Flying objects. Sometimes things rise far above our knowing. We were standing outside on a cool summer night in 1970 and our mothers were pointing to the clouds. Look, look. We look up with skepticism. Is that a flying saucer, she asks. Mr. Connor, our next door neighbor and father of 8 children, comes over to see what all the excitement's about. An amateur pilot, he laughs at my mother's excitement. It's a plane, he states. A plane, it's a plane. That one is a plane. No, it can't be. I'm sure it's a flying saucer, our mother replied. We laughed at her. But there's no doubt that UFO sightings were flourishing during the 50s through the 70s. The Kecksburg, Pennsylvania crash in the late afternoon skies of Canada, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania. All eyewitnesses saw an unknown fireball object veering toward Ohio. A fiery object landing in the woods near Westmoreland County. It was the talk of the town. Farther away in Roswell, New Mexico became the Earth's most famous UFO crash site. Roswell became a town to visit when in early 1947, William Mack Brazel reportedly found pieces of the flying saucer scattered across a nearby ranch. He later retracted his story and all the evidence vanished, supposedly carted away to some secret place like the Pentagon basement. But the rest was history as the town began to cash in on the flying saucer rumors by creating the world's only flying saucer-shaped McDonald's. The metal skin and neon piping shining around the window flames and edge lines invited tourists inside where they could see a mural of Ronald McDonald and Birdie the early bird in a planet-sized brain painted by the artist Larry Wells. Still, with all of this in the news, we laughed at her. But the possibilities for her of a soaring object in the sky became the heart of her desire that we also become adventurers in our own world. There are so many rooms in life to visit, she would tell us. One imaginary room was a long closet with a sliding door connected to our bathroom, looking out the window to the most beautiful orange autumn tree I've ever seen or will ever see again. We called our closet the elevator. We imagined it to be a transporter to another life, to adventure beyond the pain of our own lives. Sometimes our mother would escape there, shutting the door behind her, escaping the pain of an ailing body that was beginning to fail her.
The window overlooked a roof that gave a long view of the backyard and others' backyards and the world beyond. It's as if she was taking off, waiting for takeoff. But from whom and from what and where? Finding direction was something I was never good at, still not. That's why they have GPSs, right? Eventually, I learned to find adventure in my misdirection, for there was peace in knowing that I was never lost if I knew where I was at that moment. So, were there really extraterrestrials guiding our lives? Sort of. In the middle of my small town, there was a flying saucer. Flying saucer. Well, not really a true flying saucer, but central to everywhere you wanted to go. People used the flying saucer. How do I get to Main Street? Someone would ask. Go past the flying saucer and then turn right, was the answer. Or where is Prospect? Go to the flying saucer and immediately turn left. Or where is the Gulf? Go to the flying saucer and turn left. We all have marks, probably trademark landmarks in our towns. Keep going until you find the long hill. Keep driving. Or, where's the best place to eat? Depends what you're about craving. Go around the flying saucer until you find Finally, where am I now? Someone might ask. So life's landmarks existed for me as a child, not only in the rumors and stories of flying objects, but in visiting 5 points. It was called 5 points because if you had a left or right, you had 5 points. A flying saucer-shaped gas station where women pumped gasoline in their short shorts, occasionally dressed up as Martians, and greeted the customers, watching the windows so they could see where they were going. They gave driving directions to lost drivers or cheer for the weary. And a smiling Santa Claus in the dome of the flying saucer would appear at Christmas. Or at Easter, a bunny rabbit. I'm not sure which one you're getting. Let's see. E.T. Okay. Or at Easter, bunny rabbit. A few days later, before the saucer's demise, E.T. waved at the passengers as they drove by. Once my father, sitting in his car waiting for service, was surprised to see Johnny Cash. He had left 5 points for gas and direction. Anybody know who Johnny Cash is? The practical and the sublime for those who drove to find it. Years later, it sat abandoned until the Cleveland Museum of History decided to dismantle it and find funds to display it for others to see. Unfortunately, those funds were not found and it fell into disrepair. All the letters and pictures that had been given to the owner were also destroyed or lost. Maybe my mother was correct. Looking up at the sky, or driving to find direction was perhaps out there and inside. Look, do you see it? Do you see it? Yes, Mom. And even though a Walgreens has been put in the flying saucer's place, I contemplate those 5 corners of my life. The flying objects a vision of something only in my heart and mind. Look, do you see it? Do you see it? I look up. Yes, Mom, I see it now. And my heart soars a little bit as the memories rise in my mind. You can just hear it.